Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and on Happy New Year's, welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
You going home next leave?
Yeah.
Hey, when you going home, pork chop?
When your mama quit tripping and send me my money.
What about you, Fish? When you going home? Fish. Fish.
Where you from, Fisher?
I'm from under a rock.
That would make you a medical miracle, Seaman Fisher. Where'd you spend your childhood?
Nobody wants you.
Nothing.
Worthless. I hate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today at the age of 18 joined the United States Navy, where he traveled the world and was awarded many medals and ribbons. Now, he served for 11 years before being honorary discharged from the Navy. But while he was in the service, he picked up the skill of writing. He had a job and a later job as a security officer at Sony Pictures Entertainment. A year later, he wrote and sold his autobiography script titled Antwone Fisher. Ladies and gentlemen, the rest is history. Without further ado, please welcome the real Antwone Fisher. Antwone Fisher, God bless you. Good to see you again. Welcome back to us again. Always a pleasure to have you here. Let's start with where you were born at, sir.
Where I was born?
Yes, sir.
I was born in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes, the greatest location in the nation. That was the tagline when I was a kid.
All right.
Yeah.
Growing up was kind of rough. Foster care system?
Yes. Yes, I was born in a female penal institution. My mother was 17, and 2 months later, my father was murdered 2 months before I was born, and my mother's family, for whatever reason, weren't able to take me, and so I was in an orphanage in Cleveland for a couple of weeks before I was taken in as a foster kid, and then they moved me after 2 years to another foster home where it was really brutal people. They were mistreating the foster kids who they had taken in. So yeah.
That's been a long time there. And then you had tough streets of Cleveland.
Well, you know what? When I was a kid, I didn't know about the politics of things, even though I started to learn really fast. But I just looked at the nature of things, like, for example, not literally nature. I loved the fall, and I loved the way the trees had changed colors. And I would sit on the porch, and they had a lot of birds and squirrels and things. So I was entertained, just sitting on the porch in Cleveland. The nickname is the Forest City. So with the forest, so it had so many trees, and there was always something to see. So, that's the way I occupied my mind in daydreaming as a kid.
At 18, you joined the United States Navy.
Yes.
I thank you for your service to this country, sir. Anybody who's worn that uniform, I take my hat off to. I wore the uniform myself, 21 years, but he was in here 11 years. But hey, that you served this country. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Tony, can you go to number 11 for us for just a second here? Here's the picture. There it is right there. The real Antwone Fisher. There it is. Yeah. There it is. Hey, folks, here's the deal. There's the 21st anniversary of this movie. Came out January 10th, 2003. This guy wrote the movie. What was that like?
Yeah, well, I didn't know what it took to write a screenplay. I do know now, but I didn't know what I was asking for. I had some writing experience, writing poems for the guys, on the ships that I was on. I had gotten a reputation for writing poetry and writing. So I would write their girlfriends and their wives for them. I would sell these poems and notes for $5. And I thought I got a kick out of it because I couldn't believe people would give me money for that. I didn't realize that, but it did plant the seed in my head that I could write. I didn't think it was a big deal. So when the opportunity came to write the movie, I wanted to write it. Said that I wanted to write it, but everyone was saying, you don't have any writing experience and you never into college, so we'll hire a screenwriter to write it, and we'll pay you for your life rights. And I just felt like I had heard no so many times in my life that I couldn't do this or that. So I decided it was my story, and so I didn't have to ask anybody anyway. So I got some legal pads and I started writing by hand. And there's a producer here, Todd Black, a good friend of mine. For 33 years, we've been friends. He was coming on the lot, and there was a friend that he was in school with who told me about Todd and sent me to his office. And I told him my story, and I said, but I want to write it. He said, who else would write it? And then I showed him what I had written to that point, and he said, I think you have writing talent, and I'll give you a office in my bungalow of office on the 20th Century Fox lot. And so I quit the security job at Sony Pictures and went over to Fox, and I took it. I wrote 41 drafts of Antwone Fisher before he called me and said he had sold my screenplay and that I should show up at News Corp and bring my ID so I could get my money.
A gentleman by the name of Derek Luke. He played you.
Yes. I met Derek. Derek worked in the studio Emporium on the Sony Pictures studio lot. When I came onto the lot that particular day, I went on to into the Emporium. I had never seen him before in there. So I said, hey, man, what are you doing here? Shoplifting? He said, no, man, I work here. I said, well, he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm a screenwriter. He said, yeah, right. I said, yeah, I'm a screenwriter. It's true. And actually, Denzel is on the lot. He's casting for the movie that I wrote about myself. He said, oh, I heard that Denzel was casting. Can I read the screenplay? And I said, well, yeah, you can read it. So I got him a copy. And then the next time I came to the Emporium, he said, oh, I want to audition. And I said, well, I don't know. I have to ask the producer. So I went and asked Todd if he could audition. And Todd said, oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Is he an actor? And I said, well, he said he had acted on Moesha or had some bit parts. And he said, well, we have to ask Denzel. And so he asked Denzel, and Denzel was saying that all the guys had come in, he didn't feel that they were at a place where he could get out of them what he wanted, something to that effect. So he said, why not bring him over? And then Derek went over there, and Denzel told me that Derek, the number one thing about Derek was that he was emotionally available. So he could cry. Some of the guys couldn't cry or be emotional. And he said, I can help him with the rest. So one day I was at the store again, and Denzel and Todd was walking down the street heading toward the Emporium, and me and Derek was standing in the foyer. And he walked up, Denzel walked up to Derek and said, hey, Antwone. And Derek looked at me and said, oh, here's Antwone right here. He said, oh, you don't want the role? And then Derek was like jumping around. Like, I was surprised too, but I was happy for him, of course, That's how Derek's career started.
I see. We got a video I want to show you right quick. Brother Tony.
Hello?
What's up, Doc?
How are you?
I'm good.
Yes, you are, Antwone. You're good. Hearing nothing but good things from your CO. Hear that you're getting along very well with your shipmates. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
Have you thought any more about finding your family?
I don't know, for what?
No, I just think that there's really nothing more important than that, Antwone.
What are you trying to say, sir?
Third class talking to a lieutenant commander.
Yeah.
Makes you want to holler.
Yeah.
Right. Mm. You only got a few more minutes, but I just want to sneak one in here. Okay, there was another African American who was in the military and liked to write just like you did. This guy was in the U.S. Coast Guard for 2 decades. He became famous for a miniseries he wrote that over 130 million viewers saw in 1977. It's called Roots, the Saga of American Family. The gentleman I'm talking about, you know him, Alexander Murray Palmer Haley, a.k.a. Alex Haley. You two
Yeah.
guys ever met each other?
No, I never met him, but I heard that he lives in a section of Los Angeles called Cheviot Hills. That's where he lived, and every time I
Okay.
ride through there, I think of him because it was a miniseries that was very impactful for me. Um, I was in a reform school when I saw Roots in 1977. It was the year I graduated from high school, so
Uh-huh.
and the year I became homeless as well. But I never forgot about, because I didn't know a lot about our history in slavery and how that all came about. They didn't teach that in school. And so that was my first education about African American slavery and, Jim Crow and the whole thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You've been a working screenwriter in Hollywood for more than 23 years.
More than that, I started in 1992.
Uh-huh.
And then 10 years later, they made the film Antwone Fisher, 10 years later. And I think a lot of people think I started as a writer in 2002, but it was 1992 when I started. In between that time, I worked on films like Rush Hour, Money Talks, and a bunch of movies that my name is not on, but I did writing on them.
Oh, humble. Look at this picture. Tony, can you give us number 14, please? Who's this guy right there with that in his hand? Look at that guy with that award in his hand. NAACP
Yes.
Image Awards.
Yes. That was a very, very meaningful award for me. Probably, I, I had seen those shows before and never would have imagined that I would win an NAACP award, which was very satisfying for me. I have 2 of them now, and very satisfying for me to be acknowledged in that way, for work that I was happy to do. Yeah.
Tony, could you hit the next one for me, please? Look familiar? A history maker.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's a very awesome position to be in, a beautiful position to be in. Some of the toppest people in the world right here in that organization, for those who don't know about the history makers, indeed.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting because I felt so small and insignificant growing up, and my pathway through to where I am now was kind of always uncertain, kind of unsure about myself, and then the life I had lived based on the choices that I made made others feel that I had contributed in a way to our history, that was worth acknowledging. So it's another one of those meaningful acknowledgments for me.
Can you talk about any movie projects that you're doing these days?
Well, we're always trying to figure out how to do another movie or write a script that's good enough. And the thing that I've learned about writing screenplays, they're all good enough to become films, but you need more than that. You need the right ingredients. You can have a good script if you don't have an actor that the studio feels that they can recoup their money, or a director that really understands, or a producer who's willing to stick his neck out for it, or a studio. It's a tough business. And I heard that it was a tough business, but I didn't understand, because in the beginning I was winning. I was like a playing cards, and I was just winning every game. And then when my winning streak was subsiding, then I started to understand that it's more than just luck. Yeah, and it's more than having talent. Some of the most talented people come to Los Angeles to do what I'm doing, and they're all very talented, but you need more than that. People have to like you. Um, you have to be really good, and you have to be really willing to work hard. Yeah.
Antwone, unfortunately, we're out of time. Listen, all I can say is when are you coming back again? What a story, my goodness. Hot stuff. Glad I know you. Happy New Year to you and your family, sir. We'll
Yeah.
get you
Well,
on back here again.
thank you so much, Ron. I really appreciate you having me on there.
Again, thank you for your service to this country. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony. I'd like to let you know that we are asking the Actors Choice to help us get former baseball player Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, Curt passed away January 20th, 1997, was the husband of one of our wonderful guests, renowned actress Judy Pace. So all you got to do is call us at our office, 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Okay? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely thank you for each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award. Roll it, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you over this past year for the incredible number of requests that we get, receiving for flyers and postcards and business cards and other collateral. To streamline the process, we kindly request that you visit our request page and submit your requests, including those of on-site arrears. The link is www.theactorschoicela.org forecast requests. www.theactorschoicela.org requests. Okay? And thank you for following the Actor's Choice. Well, Tony.
I'm Tom Gillis. Today I'm interviewing Punch TV Studios founder and CEO, Mr. Joseph Collins, at his brand new Santa Fe Springs, California facility. Let's see, for those who are not in the know, you know, Punch TV Studios is a television network currently reaching approximately 28 million U.S. homes. It's also a full-fledged production company that produces both film and television shows. I read somewhere that they're...
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is a keystone in American identity. He totally understands the following messages: invest in yourself, invest in building your own, and do right by your partners. He has faced difficulties for those who come from minority communities and who want to achieve dreams, something he's seen firsthand. Today, you will hear an idea and a plan that he wants to do for this country. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO of Punch TV Studios and URBT Network, Joseph Collins Jr. Greetings, Joseph, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Happy New Year to you, sir.
Happy New Year to you. I'm
Yes,
happy
indeed.
to be on your
Yes,
show, first show of the year.
Damn.
And I get the great Ron Brewington.
Oh, my goodness. You took that word out and said the great Joseph Collins Jr. Well, there's a junior on there somewhere. What we just saw is just a smidgen of what this gentleman is trying to do. First of all, tell us where you were born, sir.
I was born in a little town called Malvern, Arkansas, but I pretty much grew up in Los Angeles, California.
What's that? What was that thing that I just saw across there? It showed it was an ant. That thing, yes.
I don't know what that is. I didn't touch it.
Oh, can you see it?
It's like a rainbow or something.
Yes.
Oh, there we are. Well, now they got us together now.
Goodness. When did you first get involved with Punch TV Studio?
Punch TV started, oh my God, over 15 years ago, a long time ago. It seems like forever. That's when I started it. And I started it because I wanted to be able to tell stories about people's lives that really go untold. It has evolved into these other things, but that's really why I started Punch.
Okay. One of the things that you did along the way was that you got people to invest in your process. Can you show us number 35?
Yeah, so which is great. And we are the first African-American company in America in more than, 50 years to have done what we've done in that way. And I wanted to do something to empower ourselves. One of the biggest challenges to success is having access to capital. And we, as African Americans, by and large, are cut out of the capital markets. And so, thanks to the Jobs Act, I was able to qualify to be able to sell stocks inside of our community. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to sell stocks in the urban spaces and the urban communities as an IPO, not as a secondary stock. So a lot of people, what they do is they think they're investing in an IPO, actually, which is where the greatest amount of wealth is created. But actually, they're actually investing in a secondary stock, secondary market stock. And so they never get a chance to feel the total upside or the upswing of a stock. And I wanted our community to be able to have that opportunity. And we went out and we did it.
You moved to Santa Fe Springs at one point?
Oh yeah, we had a big facility in Santa. One of the things that I'm really onto now that I wasn't then because of taxes and because of other things is ownership. So we leased that building for about 5 years. We put a lot of improvements in there. And then the markets in Los Angeles County changed and they literally tripled the rent. And so we were not going to pay $30,000 a month in rent for a building that we didn't own. So for me, it was about, hey, let's create ownership. Let's buy our own. Let's have our own. Let's do those types of things like that.
Okay. What's the difference between Punch TV Studios and Punch TV Network? What's the difference?
Well, there's no Punch TV Network. There's Punch TV Studios and Urban Television Network, or URBT Network. And they're two separate companies, and I'm the CEO of two public companies at the same time, which in and of itself is a huge, major job. And what I did was, when we started Punch TV, I wanted to do all of these things under Punch TV. And I realized that Punch TV had to be a production arm, because people think that because you run a television network, that production and television are the same. But actually, they're totally 100% different. Production is this one thing, broadcasting is this whole other thing.
Yes.
And they really don't match. So we were able to split the companies and have Punch focus on production and have Urban. And Urban, by the way, is the oldest Black-owned media company on Wall Street ever, period. Urban Television Network, period.
Something that you did.
Well, I think I'm the third CEO of Urban. I didn't found Urban, but I found Punch. So so we are just focusing in on broadcasting with Urban, and those are the two differences between the channels.
You got a short video you want to show? Roll it, Tony.
Hi, I'm Joseph Collins, and I am the CEO of Punch TV Studios and Urban Television Network Corporation. I have a very important message for you today about the ongoing of our company, our new developments, and the things that are going to make Punch TV Studios an exciting company in the future. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the new Punch TV Studios. Punch TV Studios is no longer in the broadcasting business. We are in the studio business. We're in developing new content. We're into production, distribution.
I like the way you say those things. I like the way you say those things. Thank you, Joseph. That's Joseph Collins Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Got something here, want to show.
Okay.
Tony, can you give me number 38, please? Look at that picture. What does that say? Who snuck that in there? Who that?
That is me. And I'm running as a candidate for president of the United States, as a libertarian for the Libertarian Party primarily. When we started Punch, the government didn't treat us right. And I'll just be quite blatant on that. We were not treated right. In growing and being one of the first companies to do what we did on Wall Street, we felt that the government violated our civil rights in a lot of places, or me personally and our companies as well as our stockholders. We felt that and I don't ever want to see that happen to another business in America, period. The way that we have been treated, and I'm not just saying just because I'm African American, I'm just saying the way that we have been treated by Wall Street, by the Securities Exchange Commission has been horrific, to say the best. And so I felt that the only way to make a change is we've got to go to Washington and we've got to make those changes ourselves. We've got to foster the next generation of entrepreneurs to help those entrepreneurs become successful, to help them be able to build wealth inside of urban communities and inside of communities across the nation, because there's a tremendous wealth gap. And we wanted to bridge that. So I said, you know what? I wasn't treated right. And I'm going to do something about it. And there are a lot of other issues that I'm passionate about here in America. And I said, I'm going to do something about it. And I could either talk about it or I can get up and do something. And so I said, I'm going to run for president of the United States. And that's what we've been doing.
I can believe it. Roll it, Tony, please.
Crime. Today, crime bedevils too many of America's streets and communities. There are far too many snatch and grabs, rapes, robberies, carjackings, and murder. All of these stalk the American people. When I'm elected as your president, I'm going to bring fair and effective, well-funded, and well-trained law enforcement. I promise to have fair and just prosecutions and effective consequences. And we're going to have justice for victims and their families.
Wow. How are you coming along with your campaign so far?
Actually, very, very good. I'm getting ready for our debates right now. The Libertarian Party debates actually started a couple of weeks. And I'm getting ready for those debates. I'll be down in Florida, and we're going to be debating, putting our issues out there on the table for the American people to decide who's going to be the best candidate.
Okay. Now, you'll be running as a Republican?
No, I have been a Republican, so that is true. But I'm actually running as a Libertarian. And a Libertarian is sort of a mixture between Republicans and Democrats. Like, on the things that they're liberal on, they're extremely liberal. And the things they're conservative on, they're extremely conservative. So I like the Libertarian Party, and I like what they can offer our country.
Okay. Will you be competing with Donald Trump?
Yeah, at the end of the day, if we're successful, at the end of the day, I'll be competing against Donald Trump and Joe Biden, actually, for that spot. I think that there's never been a better time in American history than for someone who's outside of the Democrat or Republican Party to actually become the president of the United States. And I think that this is the time. People are fed up with the Republicans, and people are certainly fed up with the Democrats. And I think that we can just do it better. I just think that we have to go with the candidate that can help us achieve success in our communities. And I'm that guy.
A lot of things going on in the world today. Every time I pick up a newspaper, Trump. Every time I pick it up.
Well, the only problem with that is I want him to say Collins.
Right,
So my time starts next. Actually, this is the first, so my time starts now. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to look like and to see how that comes out.
Okay. Funding. You need some funding. How can people help you?
Oh man, visit our website. Please visit our website at josephcollinsjr.com, and you can make a donation there on our site. I would really appreciate that, and see what I'm talking about too. Really see what we're talking about and see how we're going to make changes to the country and to our nation.
This is a very interesting experience. What made you do this?
Run for president?
Yep.
My mama made me do it. No, just kidding.
Okay.
I've actually wanted to be president of the United States since I was 10 years old, believe it or not. That has always been a goal in mine, is to become the president of the United States. I just thought I could do it better than these guys that are currently doing it.
Yes.
And but really today, I'm just not happy with our country. I'm not happy with the direction that our country is going. I'm not happy with politics first instead of communities. I'm not happy with the way that our legislature are passing laws that undermine the liberties of our communities. I'm just not happy. I'm not a happy camper, and I just think that we have to do something about it. One of the things that I don't like with the Democrats is they say, "Oh, kumbaya, we love you," but then they'll pass laws that hurt everyone. And I don't like that at all. I don't like it. They pass laws that affect our entire community, and I don't like it. And then so we need someone like me who's in the middle, who can reach across the aisle and say, "Hey, Republicans, let's get this done. Democrats, let's get this done. Independents, let's get this done." And I think that I'm that guy. In fact, I know I'm that guy.
I'm glad you bring that point up, because a lot of times when I sit down and talk to people, two words come out that some of us have no idea what they're talking about. One of those words is politician. The other one is politics.
That's correct.
Two deadly words. And unless, where's this one coming? What's he doing? Are they telling me the truth? Are they lying to me? Are they going to jail? I mean, what's going on here?
The unfortunate part is that media has lied to us so much. Until the American people don't really know what's true. And so then you've got to go to the independent media companies and the independent media outlets, which are few and far between, or they don't have a reach or an audience that can really get a message out. And so we need more independent media. We need to protect the freedom of speech. And so what's happened in America is that the freedom of speech has been compromised by big media. And so the truth is hard to get out. The truth is difficult to get
out. Wow. Anything else you want to add to what you've said so far?
Well, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited about this new year. I'm excited to go to the debates. I'm really excited to stand up on that stage and really do what I do, you know what I mean, and do it for the American people and for American communities across this nation. I'm just excited. So I'm asking for people's support. Visit our website, josephcollinsjr.com, and contribute a little bit and help us out, and that'll be really, really great. And I'm just really excited. I guess the most exciting thing happened to me this morning. Can I share it with you?
Yes, please. Besides getting up. Is that
getting up? It all starts with getting up. But the most exciting thing happened to me this morning is I got to be on the Ron Brewington show, the Actors Choice show. This is making my day on the first day of the year too. On the very first day of the year. So I know this is going to be a spectacular year.
Antwone Fisher was before you. You're on right now, and another gentleman, Dr. Ed, is on. Ed Rice he's up next. So we had a
nice.
Yeah, indeed.
You had Antwone Fisher on before me.
The real Antwone Fisher.
The real Antwone Fisher. Oh man, I don't know how to feel about that.
Doing fine, doing good.
Good.
Justin Jr., thank you very, very much. We wish you the best, and I'll be reading about you and talking about you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
God bless you, brother.
God bless you.
This is the Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony. Okay, thank you so much. Roll it, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today comes from education. He has an AA from Harvard University, an MS from Northwestern University, give them to you, ladies and gentlemen. So, without any further ado, please welcome Dr. Edward Ed Rice. Greetings, Dr. Rice, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing fine, brother. So, where was you born? I looked everywhere. I couldn't find out where you were born at.
Oh, I was born here in Los Angeles, born and raised.
Back.
Yes, yes, sir. Grew up in Linwood, California, raised in Compton, and I stay in Inglewood. So, yeah, I'm a local kid.
Oh, my goodness. Ugh. I'm going to get right to it.
Okay.
Higher education.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I didn't hear you.
I'm gonna get to. I would like to start with higher education. Tell us about it.
Yes. So actually right now I work in higher education. So I'm a professor. I work actually out in Moreno Valley at Moreno Valley College, teaching media studies, so journalism and intro to mass comm and digital publishing. And then I also am the advisor for our school newspaper. So yeah. So in higher ed, it's just been something that has helped me and has been a career path that, you know, has really helped elevate my career. And it's been just a passion of mine for a long time. I actually started out in elementary. So I started out as an elementary school teacher, and prior to that, a journalist. So, you know, I've had my hand in writing and education for some time now.
Two things. Number one, we got to talk to each other because maybe I look over at Santa Monica College. You might be interested in getting a job over there.
I mean, let's talk. I would definitely a little bit closer. So
yes, a little bit closer. And the other one is you said it several times. Let's get to the difference. Let's get to it. Okay. What's the difference of a journalist and a writer? I mean, both of them write. So what's the difference?
So, you know, people don't understand there is a huge difference. So somebody that's a journalist is a trained reporter, meaning that we are trained to be able to tell stories, quick stories about the news and things that are happening around people, around our communities and in society. Whereas a writer is somebody that can use their imagination to write fiction. They don't necessarily have to tell stories that involve news. They can, but generally you see writers like Antwone Fisher that you had on earlier, who work in screenplays, who, you know, write movies and television and author books, but they aren't necessarily journalists. It's a different skill set. And it's funny because oftentimes when I teach my students, they come in from taking English classes and they try to write the same way. And I'm like, we don't write the same way. It's a different skill set. It's the same, but it's different. If you think about it in terms of sport, it would be the difference between somebody that runs track running the 100 and then a cross country runner. Same field, two different sort of specialties. So that would be the real difference. But somebody that's a journalist, they really focus on news. So you see them in newspapers, you know, in broadcast television and things of that nature.
As you're talking, I was thinking of two things: opinion versus fact. because, you know, a lot of people, they love it.
Well, you know, there are opinion writers too who you know, they write their opinion and people turn to them for their opinion, and they are in a field of journalism, but they may not necessarily be considered journalists or reporters. So again, it's different, you know.
Because I know the radio, the TV people, and even the news people, sometimes they on schedule. You got to move.
Oh, it's called a deadline. It's called a deadline, and we work on it in that field.
I understand that journalists say that they have the best job in the world. What do you say, sir?
I say we have one of the most interesting jobs in the world. Our job can literally take us around the world to cover society, to, you know, report the news, and to bring those perspectives and that critical eye to issues that people are dealing with. So yeah, we have one of the most interesting jobs and one of the most challenging ones at that, especially in these times.
Thank you. Dr. Rice, going back to the higher education, a lot of times people, you know, scholarships, trying to get scholarships, money still left over. It's amazing when you see major companies, and you know this, where they look out for, and not only just blacks, but other people as well. And nobody goes to get some of that money.
Yeah, I deal with a lot of students, and a lot of times, it's a couple different things. It's awareness, because a lot of times they just don't know that the money is available. But then, other times it's that sometimes the criteria can be intimidating to people, and they aren't always willing to do necessary things. But I think the bigger thing is awareness, because there's a lot of students that want it and are willing to do the work and to meet the criteria, but they aren't always made aware of it. Oftentimes they hear about the big scholarships, the Coca-Colas, the Bill Gates Millennium ones, and so everybody goes for those. But there's a lot of smaller scholarships that are just as lucrative, and it's all the same money. It spends the same way. So some of the students I work with and talk to, I always try to tell them or make them aware of some of those other scholarships that can also help them advance their education as well.
Because to have 3 degrees that you have, you had good days, you had bad days, ups and downs, and this and that.
I had a lot. I did. I had a lot. I had a lot of different days and a lot of struggles, a lot of tough times here and there. But it's persistence, and it's making sure that you stick to it and setting that goal and doing what you need to do to achieve it.
Oh. Because again, I was in the Navy for 21 years, and I know and when I was in the Navy, they sent me to college.
Okay, all right.
I had a great time, and the
it's
idea
fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
It is fun.
It's fun, but a lot of times people don't understand what like I said, I teach over at Santa Monica College, and just getting people to get involved. Some of them, I have what I call nuggets.
Okay.
There's several, and here's two of my nuggets. This is what I bring along one of them. You ever heard of second brain?
I'm not that familiar with that.
Second brain.
Okay.
High technology. When I was a kid coming up, all we had was an encyclopedia. Now, okay, Google.
Right. I had to go to the library. We didn't have Google. We didn't have Google search. So yes, absolutely. Second brain.
Second brain. Another one of my things that I love to throw at my students is how many hours are there in a week? And then I start counting. 1.
Right.
You'd be surprised. I get 35 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds.
Mm-hmm. They don't always understand about the time thing and using it, and make sure that they apply themselves. I mean, it's 24 hours in the day. 7 to 8 of those you might be sleeping. So that's already taking you down to about 16. And then if you talk about travel and everything else like that, it's about 2 and work and everything. It just diminishes. So just making sure that people use their time wisely. Yes, definitely is something that you need to impress upon your students.
Okay. Here's another one that we're going to see if we can send this one for you.
Okay.
I saw this when I saw it. I said, "Can you pick that one?" What does that picture mean right now?
That means everything. It's the Mecca. It's the home. It is the center for Black education and Black excellence. It's Howard University, my alma mater, my home.
When I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Washington, D.C., and I used to go up on the campus. Beautiful place.
Beautiful. Oh, absolutely. It's a beautiful place. It's a place that has a very rich history, not just to alum, but to this country. I mean, Howard alum, we touch every area of excellence. We touch every area of endeavor, and we're all over the place. So yes, it's a very special place, and you can feel it, once you step on the campus. Like there's no other place like it. I've been a few places, and there's still none like Howard.
Like the Wings and Mo Wings. Remember Wings and Things?
Yes, absolutely. Remember Wings and
Mumbo sauce.
You haven't been if you don't know about mumbo sauce.
Amen. Can you take us to the next picture, Tony? Look at this picture. Look at this picture with you. Look at you.
Y'all went all through the social media.
That's beautiful. You look good in that uniform. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much.
Doctor of Education. Woo!
Yeah. It's higher ed administration, but that's where I did my work in SC and did my dissertation on recidivism among African American men in higher ed, and using higher ed as a tool to overcome recidivism. So yeah.
Got you. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Any thoughts, sir?
Well, I was actually the chair of our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee at the school, and it was an important endeavor. And like many of us, we became really deeply involved in it after a lot of the events of 2020. And it's always been something that's important. I think it's more so important now, and still important, that resources are being used equitably, that our students are receiving equitable treatment in the classroom, outside of it, and for those that are working with them. A lot of times, a lot of people who aren't directly impacted by it think that equity means taking something from them, that they have to lose something for other people to gain something. And it's not really about that. It's about, just leveling the playing field and making sure that everybody is starting and working from the same place and has the same opportunities to advance. It's looking at historical factors that have impacted marginalized communities and making sure that we do everything that we can to push everybody to greatness. And so that's really what diversity and inclusion, at least for me and how I've experienced it, what it's really been about, and what it's meant in the higher education space where I've been working in it.
Can we go back just a little bit? We have some time. I'm gonna sneak this one in. When you went to a school that I love so dear, we call it SC. I love me some SC. Great school. Great school.
Yes, SC, SC was a different experience because, again, I was pretty much an adult. So, and being from Los Angeles, SC has a special place in my heart, and I always wanted to go there. So was really honored and excited about the opportunity to go there for graduate school. But let me be clear, it was work. So there wasn't a whole lot of hanging out on campus. I was actually a working professional at the time, so I would go to my job and then come to class and do work. So SC while it was a great experience, it was work. It was mostly work, but I enjoyed my time there and felt that, I learned a great deal from my experience at USC.
Got you. Over at Santa Monica, we have a top, situation where people can get into school.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they go right to SC. I tease them all the time. We have a film specialist. George Lucas was a USC alumnus himself. And
Absolutely.
he put $175 million into the school.
I mean, listen, it's on the alumni to keep our schools going out in the forefront. So, hopefully I'll get to the point where I can give Howard $175 million. That's the goal.
And of course, the Annenbergs donated about the Annenberg School for Communications building ASC. A lot of people put money into it.
A lot of people.
Yes. Wow. Like I say, I call it what's that? Oh, USC. USC.
USC.
Love it.
Interesting.
Back to you again. Community engagement and outreach. How's that coming?
It's coming well. I mean, a lot of it is just me working in the community in different areas. Mostly really doing my artwork, doing engagement through just my education work. And then one of the other things that I also do is I teach. I work through Cal State Teach as an adjunct professor and work with them, grooming new teachers and helping prepare teachers to work in the field. So work specifically with men in education. And so that's really where, my community work and outreach comes from.
We got time for one more thing. We cannot let you out of here without introducing Cosmic Granny, A Settle the Score.
Yes. So that's my first children's book. It recently dropped in August and it's doing really well right now. And Cosmic Granny is about Norma Gnarly, who is a retired NASA astronaut who goes off into space and fights crime with her grandkids. So it's something that, I've been cooking up for a while, actually. So, I was really honored and excited to have it finally come to print.
Can you show the next picture? Look at this one. Look at that.
Yeah, that's when I
TV station. Yes.
Yeah, I was locally here. I was on Channel 7. Yeah, yes. back in September, and they were one of the first ones to feature my story, and it was exciting to actually go there and share with the SoCal community my home, my first children's book.
Dr. Rice, I want to thank you for stopping by on this New Year's Day. May the best be with you, and do come back again, please.
I will make sure I do so.
Indeed. And thanks to your publicist, my longtime friend, Cynthia Busby.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Cynthia. This
Good
was a
lady.
great interview, and I definitely appreciate you highlighting my work. So, yes,
My
I will be
pleasure.
back.
Wish we had more time. Get you back.
All right.
Because you got a lot to say.
You know, I have a few things on my heart. All right.
I'll get in touch with you and we'll talk a little bit more.
Please, let's do that. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman Photography as an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Life, The Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's book To the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's actor training facility and Actor Space. Much thanks to our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, writer, director, producer, Antwone Bishop. CEO, Punch TV and URBT Network, Joseph Collins Jr., and Associate Professor, Journalist, Author, Dr. Edward Red Rice. The Actor's Choice is a presentation of B&B Productions. Rudolph Brewington is the president, and Sidney Chandler is our executive producer. Special thanks to our ever-growing audience. I'm Ron Brewington. Be well. See you next time, and happy New Year to you, ladies and gentlemen.